Welcome to the brand new Level Up Time vodcast. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Hernandez, creator of Level Up Time. So the point of today's vodcast is just to really explain the future of my work, my website, and what you should expect to see on mediums like this. So first and foremost, what is Level Up Time? So about a year ago, I had this idea that I wanted to teach students with developmental delays, including autism, how to design, develop their own video games. Now, since that initial idea, Level Up Time has evolved so much, and we're going to get to that later. But let's talk about what Level Up Time really is and what it stands for. So, Level Up in the Level Up Time insinuates gaming. So, as you will always notice, I always say gamify education. So Level Up is the portion of the name that contributes to gaming. And then the time stands for DIR Floortime. It's kind of a play on words. So DIR Floortime is actually the teaching method that I use within my sessions for teaching students about media-related arts. So for those of you who don't have for those of you who don't know what DIR Floortime is, I have a podcast coming up. I'm going to link it in the bio that explains all of DIR Floortime, what it's about, what the D, the I, and the R stand for, and what floor time is, and what that looks like. So make sure you look in the bio below or hit the link at the end of this video. And that'll explain everything about DIR Floortime. That way, moving forward, when I talk about things and I mention floor time, I mention DIR Floortime, you guys aren't out of the loop and you know what I'm talking about. So anyways, getting back to Level Up Time. So the initial idea, again, started with just creating video games. And then I soon realized after one of my first presentations that, yeah, this was about video games, but it really wasn't about video games. I took a group of 3 students who didn't know much about creating video games, but they had that initial idea. And in the beginning, it was really hard for them to work together, and they didn't get along in class to begin with. And so it became not really about learning the skills of coding and math to accomplish this, but really kind of building a morale with each other so that, in their times of frustration, they could ask for help and they can tag out of the project so that the other person can sit down and start working on it. And that's when I realized it really wasn't about the skill of learning to code. It was really about them wanting a mastery over something and also wanting that recognition that they are knowledgeable in certain areas. So when I say all that, what I really mean is, one student really knew how to go back and forth from screen to screen and start writing the code out. Another student would get really frustrated with that. So the 2 students would work hand in hand. He would always ask for help and be like, hey, can you double check my work just in case I get it wrong? But, over time, this has actually really expanded, like I mentioned in the beginning. So Level Up Time is no longer only about making video games, because as with everyone has different individual differences. So that's the I in DIR. And again, you'll learn more about that later. But everyone has their own individual differences. So everyone likes other things other than video games. So I have a couple of students who have asked to learn music production, video production, photography, and a whole sorts of other media related stuff. So Level Up Time has really expanded into different realms of teaching media to these students. And as you will see from all the content I'll be posting, it's never really about learning these skills. These students have a handle on these skills and they want to use them, but it's more of the community aspect of wanting to engage with people and wanting to talk to people and, wanting to have that reassurance that they're knowledgeable in certain areas. So please stay tuned for more vodcast episodes, which will mainly be tutorials and things of that nature. and maybe updates as well. And then please stay tuned to my podcast, which is going to have the really big meaty content in it. So we're going to be talking about not only these groups, but you're going to hear snippets from my time with students and stuff like that. I have a student that wanted their own podcast, and he uses that in a sort of like game show type of way to try new foods that he's never tried before, which is an amazing thing. So please stay tuned for the podcast. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Don't forget to listen to my first podcast episode. Again, the link's in the bio. You can click the link at the end of this video. And that one will explain all about DIR Floortime. That way, moving forward, there won't be any confusion about what the DIR Floortime methodology is. So this has been Chris with Level Up Time, and I'll see you guys next time.